Heyo, duckies and dice fiends. Welcome in. We already have a party going in here. Level 1 hype train. Thank you so much. Lurking Writer, thank you so much for the resub. 1 year consecutive, 13 months total, with happy anniversary, good time zones, and happy birthday to Kay from the future. Thank you, Lurking Writer. I hope that my birthday is treating you well, where it is my birthday in your future, in the future, which is the future, is the present for you. Thank you, Ilaria, for resubscribing with Prime and starting that hype train. Thank you, Rex, for hanging out. Thank you all for being here. Hey, yo, all. Whew, that was a mouthful. I'm apparently going. Welcome to Tuesday. It is the Table Talk Show. I'm Kay. I am one of your hosts. I am here doing this, but I'm not here alone. David, who the heck is you and what the heck is we doing here?
I should have thought of something funny to say before now, but I did not.
Last opportunity.
Right. But there will be opportunities in the future. Hi, I'm David, and this is the chaotic, wholesome Tuesday Table Talk Show, where every week we talk about TTRPG stuff, how to be a better GM, how to be a better player, how to stress about a module you're running this weekend, how to be a better person, all with a focus on intersectionality and inclusivity so that everybody can have a good time.
Yes, time is a big ball of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff. Lurking Writer says, I have a Doctor Who quote for that. And if Doctor Who is not your jam, time is a weird soup.
Look, I only have one opinion about Doctor Who, and that the Neil Gaiman episode that he wrote was trash. It was outright bad.
I have the most controversial of, hey, Mark J, welcome in. Thank you for coming by. Yeah, we're going to talk about another thing here in just a moment. Yeah, I have the highly controversial Doctor Who opinion, and that my favorite Doctor is a Time Lord. Yeah, Nightmare in Silver. Yes, not that great, says Lurking Writer. Thank you all for hanging out. This is our affiliate anniversary. We have been affiliates for 5 years. In my brain, I'm like, I've been streaming for what? 2 years? 3 years?
Well, you did build that one channel to affiliate on your fucking own.
Yes. But like, it's bananas that this one is 5 years because it doesn't feel
right
like 5 years.
He really does.
Does not. I dodge with the worm in Dune still. Yeah, I don't know. I have not played that game, but I have heard that if the worm eats you, then you lose everything. So don't let the worm eat you.
Yo, I've seen precisely one video about this Dune game, and the worms are so gigantic. Like, they are at a scale that I think Frank Herbert would be proud of.
Apparently you do. I haven't been devoured yet. Good for you. So yes, we have, if you did not see, actually, hilariously, I actually don't think I set this up before we went live, because who's a brilliant person right now? Me. It's me. I'm a brilliant person right now. We announced a thing that is happening. So this is affiliate anniversary. Tomorrow is my birthday because, actually I'm going to, oh yeah, we can just image, add image. Tomorrow is my birthday. And then the following day is Juneteenth. And we are so excited to be doing this, which is on screen now. Candace the Magnificent is going to be running some Savage Worlds. And we have Black Mage Girl, Midnight Inc., Dauntless, and Brother Keon with, and I realize I'm covering captions, I'm so sorry, with Candace the Magnificent as the GM, happening as a fundraiser for the Marisha P. Johnson Institute. We are so excited. And we're not we're not done yet for June. There's another. Keep an eye out. There's another. It's tomorrow in my country. Happy birthday. Thank you. Yes. Y'all are, people are being nice and I can't handle it. So I'm very excited. Please come back. It's going to be Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific, which is an hour before now. Are you going to get super gay? Look, I don't think I know. Minor spoiler. I won't say who, I won't say what. I know there's a hot goth nerd. And if you're not gay for the hot goth nerd, what are you doing with your life?
Right.
I'm excited. Now, I'm not playing. It is, as you can see, it's an all melanin table. It's awesome. I'm not playing. But I'm so excited that we get Brother Keon here because I got to play a game with Brother Keon a year ago, 2 now. It's been a freaking minute. And I'm like, we gotta have him on our channel. We gotta have him on our channel. Hot golf nerds. And then Friday, I will be overdoing Weird Wilds War over at Entropy Emporium, playing Brandon. Y'all, I am so lucky. David is giving me for my birthday an in-person one-shot, which this means, David, you will be my 3rd in-person GM ever.
Mm-hmm.
Ever.
And considering the quality of your other GMs, I have a lot to live up to.
And not only is David running this game for me and several of our mutual friends, I'm going to be playing Brandon. So I'm going to get to torture my best friend for my birthday, and it's going to be great.
Mm-hmm. Ooh-wee. Yeah, Brandon is going to give me fucking fits.
David's in pain already.
Yep.
Yep. So, all of that to say, I am probably also going to be doing a birthday stream just for funsies somewhere in there. What do I have? I have something Sunday. What do I have Sunday? Sunday morning, I have a charity game. That's right. I will be over on Nerds with Dice on Sunday morning, raising money for charity. Very early my time. I think I have a 6:30 a.m. call time. So I might be streaming Sunday after that. I do want to just do a fun little, I'm going to play some video games and chat with you all. And thank you all for hanging out. Hey, Jen, welcome in. So today, affiliateversary stream. Thank you so much. I'm a reluctant morning person. I would sleep until at least noon every day, except neither my brain nor my back will allow it. And it just wakes me up at about 6 a.m., no matter what time zone I'm in. So, this is what happens.
Also the cats.
Well, the cats would behave better if I didn't wake up at that time. Cats know schedules very well. That's the pro tip. If you ever have to take medication at a certain time, give your cat a treat whenever you take your medicine, and the cats will remind you. So tomorrow, nothing, because tomorrow I get to play my home game, and I am going to be doing all sorts of birthday shenanigans tomorrow. Thursday, we will be here. You will not see us, but we will be here running production for Candace's amazing Juneteenth game. If you saw I'm going to turn it back on, this amazing flyer, this one right here, look at how pretty that is. That was done by Domo Jason Domo came. Thank you, Jason. Thursday, that is Juneteenth. Friday, find me over at Entropy Emporium, Weird Wilds War. Saturday, I am nowhere because I am torturing David with Brandon at an in-person one-shot. Sunday, charity game over at Nerds with Dice, 7 a.m. Pacific. And I believe I'm playing Roxy there.
Oh, wow.
And then potentially Friday morning stream, potentially Sunday afternoon stream. We'll find out. That's what we have going on here.
Your schedule is packed for the rest of the week.
Look, I get to do lots of TTRPG stuff for my birthday, and what more could I ask for? It's me.
Mm-hmm.
It's me. Aw. Yeah, I'm excited to get back to Brandon. And then I think it's going to be another long chunk because the next session would fall on the 4th of July. And somehow I don't think people are going to play on the 4th of July Friday.
Yeah.
As much as I would like to. It will at least give me time to comfort my cats who will be freaking the fuck out because downtown LA, you know, people are going to be setting off fireworks in a parking lot. That's just how that's going to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a lot of talking to get us to finally the point of today's thing. Hey, Gilmore, if you want to come up on camera, people would love to see. No, gotta flop. Today, in alignment with our streamiversary, 5 years we've been doing this, and so we wanted to take some time to talk about longevity, making things last, not just for a session, not just for a short time, but for years, potentially. The tricks, what to do, what to avoid, what to be flexible on, what to not be flexible on. And this can apply to streaming channels. Some things we're going to talk about, like home game, turn it into a god. You know? That is a good way to make something last. And look, I am still terrified about what's happening to the world of the god plane with Navi just going around being Navi.
Right. Also, while shopping for Kay's birthday present, I had to stop both myself and my guy. Yeah, we got you something. Didn't even get you what I wanted to get you. Couldn't find it. But I had to stop my godbrother from getting them a how to start your own cult book because look, I can't have the FBI invading your compound. Because that's what would happen. It would take like 5 years, and Kay would be a millionaire, and there'd be a compound, and the FBI would show up.
And I am not a straight white man enough to be dealing with the FBI in the current climate.
Right. Yeah, right.
Look who decided to not show his face, but show his back. Hey, Metalamia, welcome in. How are you doing? Hey, DC. Welcome in all. Thank you for joining us. It is a delight to have you here. We have been talking, and we finally said the topic of today's episode, which is longevity, making things work, be it, a streaming channel, be it, collaborative things, be it a streaming channel like we do, be it an actual play stream game, be it a home game, whatever you're doing, what you need to be flexible on, what you need to be rigid on. And honestly, and this is the hardest thing, right, is you have to find people who can and will show up. It doesn't have to be every time, right? But you have to find something that the number of people that you agree on are all passionate enough about, care enough about, that they will show up regularly. And this is, there's a part of me that wants to say this is especially important if you're trying to do like a welcome to It's Almost Kay's birthday. I want to say it's especially important if you're doing a streamed game because showing up on a regular basis at about the same time on the same channel is very important. But let's be honest, it's also incredibly true for home games because the minute your home game loses momentum,
yeah, it's really tough to get it going again.
And yeah, that is, and especially like this channel, as some of you know, those of you who need the deep lore of the Chaotic Wholesome channel, it started out as my personal streaming channel. It was just me playing video games. And then I went, hey, David, I'm kind of interested in this like TTRPG thing. And David went, oh, hold my beer.
Right.
And eventually it was like, David, could we just run stream games? Like, I'm not getting the games I want. I'm not getting the tables I want. I'm not getting the depth I want. I want my friends to be treated better. Hey, Jason, welcome in. And David went, yeah, we can run a game. Yeah, we could figure this out. Hey, Matt, welcome in, Mimics and Misfits. And I'm super lucky in that, like, I don't know. Actually, I know. I can't say I don't know if I didn't have, you know, a partner in this. Would I? I know I wouldn't have, because I went 6 months without my partner. And even with the momentum and everything we had built, it was a struggle to keep it going without someone to be there and help, right? Even if it's just moral support or, yeah, you're doing good. I need that. Maybe not everyone does, but I know myself. And I need that. So that is the first thing, is like a collaborator or collaborators who have the time, energy, and spoons to show up regularly and help.
I was talking to a friend of mine earlier this week about creative endeavors, and she was talking about how she lost a lot of motivation. And, you know, I gave her like the usual spiel I give people, like, do it for yourself first and foremost. Like, do what you like. Like, if it's creative, do what moves you. Don't just go through the motions because it's trendy or whatever. But I also told them, like, I'm really fortunate that I have Kay, because when I was in the hospital, I realized, I was like, I haven't written anything in like 8 months. Like, it's been a long time since I've like written a thing. And I'd argue that's probably the longest I've gone as an adult without like writing something. But like Kay said, like this channel and all of the creative stuff we've done and all of the modules that we've written, and all of the great ideas I have for stuff that I and we are working on wouldn't have happened without our collaboration. And I definitely would have gone a different, worse direction without Kay. So, find like-minded people, find people that you connect with, and work with them on things. And I also want to make clear, like, yes, this episode is about longevity, but if you get one session, if you get like one shot together, Gilmore, do the thing. Do the thing, Gilmore. Gilmore, do it. He can't hear me, but yeah. But if you get together for a one shot and you get 3 or 4 of your friends in a room as busy, hardworking adults, many of whom have more than one job, many of whom have kids,
or demanding pets.
Right. Like, that is a success.
Yeah.
So do not think that because you don't have like a 2 or 3 year long game that, you know, you're a failure of some sort. Just getting it together once is great.
And how many people have had that? And that's the thing, is getting started. Like, what's the hardest step? What's the most important step? The first one. Because how many people have had a one shot turn into a years long campaign? I don't know. Ask Matthew Mercer.
Right.
Also, Youngles said, oh, I need lots of praise. And Rex replied, I need a group of people to sing to me to keep me going throughout the day. I need choral support. And yes, David, you do have the most legit of excuses, given you were not conscious for a good part of that.
Yeah, that's fair.
You have time for a movie night, you have time for a one-shot with friends. Also depends on what kind of GM you are, because for some people, GMing is a lot of prep work.
Yes.
A lot of prep work.
And like Kay said last week, the bit of advice we found online was play, if you wouldn't go on a road trip with someone, maybe don't play D&D.
Exactly. Oh, gods. What do you mean David wasn't streaming his dream state directly onto the page for a story?
Look, if I could do that, man, I'd hook up that headset right before I went to bed, and I'd have books every week.
Lamia says, I just had what was supposed to be a 3 to 4 session turn into a 10, which ended up being 30 to 40 episodes. Yeah, get it started. Because again, the first step, I am 100% quoting Brandon Sanderson here, but it's what is the most important step? The first one. And you get together and you do the one shot and you're like, hey, me and these 2-3 people were fucking great. That person, maybe we don't invite them back. Right? Or, hey, 2 of these 3 people are super into figuring out a way to continue this. The other person, meh. Okay, maybe we keep going with those 2 to 3, and maybe it's just those 2 to 3. Maybe we find another person to round out the party who's a little bit more excited. So yeah, that's, oh dear. I got suckered into running D&D for some friends 7 years ago. Yep. Objects at rest tend to stay in rest. Objects in motion tend to stay in motion. This is why I struggle to fall asleep and why it's hard to wake up without an alarm. I presume the same is true for starting and or maintaining a TTRPG campaign, unless acted upon by outside forces. Yeah, David knows there's an irony of if I am worked to the bone, if I am incredibly busy at work, I am more productive with this channel. When I have the most to do is when I am the most TTRPG productive. And it is obnoxious. I had another friend who was close friend, left his job, moved, and was between jobs and had all the time in the world. And friend is other friend has all the time in the world, is not hanging out, is not reaching out, is not doing all the stuff we used to do, even though friend has all the time in the world. And it's that might be part of the problem, actually.
Yeah.
When friend gets a job and has limited time to do things, you actually tend to get more done. For some people. Not for everyone, but for a lot of people. What else are you going to procrastinate with? Exactly. Now, this is a little bit of session 0 territory, but it's incredibly important for home games to make sure no one feels left out, for stream games to make sure no one feels left out or singled out, while also maintaining momentum. Figure out what is an actually reasonable cadence for us. Because a once a week game is very different from a once a month game.
Yes.
And that's important to figure out because the kind of subjects that you tackle in a once a month game are not the same as the ones you tackle in a once a week game. You got to make sure that both the GM and the players have the time to show up to the once a week, but also that a once a month could keep their attention because look, y'all, if I'm only playing a game once a month, I'm restless. I am I will be savage at the start of a session. If we play once a month and everyone's sitting around chit-chatting, I will do my very best to be on my best behavior, but I can promise you inside I am fuming. Because we only have 3 hours once a month. I've missed you all. Shut up and play the game.
Right.
And it's yes, if left unattended, will create more backstory. Also true of me. But, and again, like, if you're doing a whole bunch of mystery, there's a bunch of clues, you have to piece it all together and figure out. Once a month is going to be real hard because no one's going to remember that. And again, can your GM keep up with the pace? Because some can, some can't. And then you also have to figure out what is the go versus no-go criteria. If it is a once-a-month game, you probably need to play even if one person can't make it, or else you're not playing for 2 months. And then really, who's going to remember?
Right.
Is it, we will play, like, one of my games is if the GM is available to run the game, we play. If you're not there, your character will not die, but we are not holding up the game. 7 other people put time out of their schedule.
Whereas with our home game, which was every week, it was like if one person is going to make it this, like, well, we'll just be back at it next week. It's fine.
Yeah. I've been made privy to the behind-the-scenes RP stuff relating to a game Kay was in. This is so true.
Yeah. Kay might just show up with a 30-page document.
Look, that
maybe
included images.
Right.
Many images.
You're still not going to beat the 28 pages of what that document was. All good stuff. All excellent stuff.
It was mostly images, and you know how Google Docs is. You put the image in, and then you can only do like one per page. So,
it still said 28 at the bottom. Anyway,
characters stay alive in the brain, and they are doing their own fuckboy stuff, expanding their lives. To be clear, Kay was not alone in those backstories. Yeah, I was. No, there were entire adventures that were nowhere on the streamed game that happened. Like, a player character killed my character's brother. And it never made it to the streamed game.
And another, like sort of like touching on the point Kay made earlier is like, know when to prune people. Because not only are there like bad actors in the community or like someone who's annoying, but the main problem I've personally experienced is lack of commitment. Like, we had an in-person game. I think the first game that Kay and I played together, where 2 of the people either were like an hour and a half late or did not show up and didn't tell us they weren't going to show up until we'd been there an hour waiting. And like I said last week, I had a game where like one of the players was like half an hour to an hour late every time, to the point where we're like, hey, we're moving the time up to like 2 instead of 3. The time was 3.
Jason, thank you. Welcome in.
But you have to differentiate between someone who doesn't want to be there and isn't all that committed to it, to someone who wants to be there and is having a good time. And, the player I had that was half an hour late, but really invested and would like message me during the week with like ideas and questions, is very different than someone who's like, yeah, I was supposed to be there an hour ago, but I'm not gonna make it. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
And this is a difficult thing to say, right? But you also have to not be afraid to prune people who can't make it through circumstances not their own.
Yeah.
Someone has a baby.
Yeah. Yeah, if you got a newborn.
Yeah. Like, that's when you need to sit down and go, hey, we understand why you haven't made it to the last 4, 5, 6 sessions, right? There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 other people who have again all taken time out of their schedule to be here. We do not want to punish you. What can we do to put your character in a nice little bubble so that when your life calms down, you can come back in? Let's write an arc. Let's do something that will let you not feel like you're being punished, but your life circumstances have changed. Like, I recently had to have a talk with a GM about, hey, if things go well, things didn't go well. If things go well, I'm not going to be able to keep playing this game, at this day, at this time. And GM, could have just said, because this is we play rain or shine if the GM can run it. GM was like, I don't want to lose you. Tell me what day you can make it, and that's the day we will do it. Very easily could have said, cool, sucks, I'm sorry. You know how this, and I wouldn't have been upset because I know we play it this day, rain or shine. But if you go to your GM ahead of time, because I was like, hey, I told him at the end of last month, hey, if this happens, it'll start, the change will be sometime in July. And he's like, we've got plenty of time to figure it out. So don't worry about it. And that feels really good. But it was a really shitty conversation to have, but I knew the sooner I had it, the better it would be for everyone. Because, David, would you rather know that you were losing a player 2 months before you were losing the player, or 2 days?
Look, the way I would rejigger that storyline so that something awesome happened on the last available episode.
Hey,
Thank you for lurking, Mossflower.
Yeah.
And also yeah, being able to plan the more time I have to plan something, the more time I have to procrastinate planning it. And that procrastination time is essential. If you're going to get good content out of me, like Kay and I have to start working on the Christmas charity game in August because I need a month to procrastinate.
Lured into the Feywild, sucked into a dimensional vortex, off surfing the event horizon of a black hole. All good reasons for a PC to go missing while life is in the way. Exactly. Do y'all remember the first? I don't even know how many of y'all were around for the first run of Godplane when we ran it over on Gaming Trend.
Yeah.
We had a player, and Godplane is it is a closed system. You are in here. You don't get to leave the Godplane until the end of the Godplane. And then exactly one person per game has gotten to escape the Godplane. And one player was like, last minute, a thing came up. And they were like, I have this opportunity. It's a really great opportunity. I will turn it down for this. And we're like, go.
Absolutely not. Go.
Do the opportunity. And we ended up writing them out for an episode in a way that actually came to change the way their story ended and resulted in them being one of the few people who has escaped the Godplane. And it might have, but I don't think it would have happened had they not taken that thing. And if they'd not given us a heads up, it certainly wouldn't have been as neatly
that
done.
would have been,
yeah,
that would have been terrible if we didn't. It was perfectly fine that they had to miss an episode, and it worked out really great. Like Kay said, it worked out really great for their story. If they had told us day before or day of, it's like, by the way, I'm not gonna be here tomorrow. I would have been so mad. I would have been so mad.
But because they told us in advance, we wrote a really cool reason for them to not be there. So yeah, and that's again, and that is so in my home game, we are reaching the end of Act 2. And y'all, everything sucks right now. Everything's really, really hard. We're about to go into a fight with who I think is the big bad evil guy of the campaign. I know we've still got an Act 3 to go. we've been warned that it's highly lethal and at least a couple of us are probably going to die, right? Like we are going in knowing all of this. And like one person was like, hey, I work night shifts on not this session, but the next one. So that would be the final session of the arc. I work a night shift that day. I cannot change it, right? Works in a hospital. Like, I cannot change this. I will not be mad if you all continue playing because I understand. But this is the last one. And GM's like, cool, we're playing again the second, right? We're skipping that. Tell me ahead of time, especially with something that big, and we'll work with it, right? Like, if I'm running a game and your character is currently the spotlight character, if this is your character's plot, if we're going through, the person from your backstory is here and you can't make that next session, maybe we don't play that. Maybe we find a one shot. Maybe we skip. Maybe we play Jackbox, right? Because that's important to you specifically, right?
And actually, Players Missing introduced me to one of my favorite board games, which I've only played like 3 times, but I went and bought like the special edition of it, which is sitting in a box off screen. But with the home game that Kay and I were playing, the 2 people who were flakes didn't show up, and the guy that was running it and his roommate had a table full of tabletop games, full, like jam packed, just a library of them. And the game, one of the games that we played was House on Haunted Hill, I think it's called.
Betrayal on House of the Hill.
Yeah, Betrayal on House of the Hill. And let me tell you, that game is fun as shit. Yep. It is fun and it is hilarious. So
it is also why David has nightmares whenever I break out my Valley Girl voice.
Oh my God. Yeah. But
very quickly, DC says I was in a 3.5 D&D home game where if the player was gone, we'd decide that character climbed the tallest nearby thing to try and pee off of it.
which, don't eat the yellow snow.
Hey, Jilly. Welcome on in. Pram, welcome. Ducky made getting that board game a mission in life.
Did I pick that up in? Yeah, I picked that up in Phoenix. Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it is great. So here's the thing. What's funny is people I used to work with were board game snobs, and they, by and large, hated Betrayal on House of the Hill because they're like, oh, it's just such like a basic, like it's such your like starter box. I came to realize they were really into the like meeples. They were like, they wanted to play the board games that should be a video game. So look, y'all, I'm not saying they're bad. Like, you play the game you want to play. We've said this before, right? But I'm not out here looking to play 1 or 2 D&D.
Right.
I don't want to have to do the roll armor class hit to percentile.
Listen, THACO is diabolical. Thank God THACO is no longer a thing.
Yes. And if THACO is your thing, great. I am so happy for you. Good luck with your neurodiversity, right? Like, right. I wish you all the luck. I understand. I love grinding in JRPGs, right? I love the grind to level in video games. I get it. I have a spreadsheet to collect all my shiny Pokemon.
Right. I was like, if you like second edition, show me your favorite spreadsheet because I know you have one.
Yeah. Like, and so these were the people who were like, they wanted the like, you have to memorize every turn. You have to remember all the stuff. Whereas I'm like, if this were a video game, it would just do this stuff for me. Right. And I wouldn't have to commit like RAM to it. And they didn't like it because it was too simple. And I'm like, I play Betrayal on House of the Hill like a TTRPG. I am voicing my character. I am not making decisions to win. I'm making the decisions my character would make. And then I keep winning.
Right.
It disturbs me that I have played that game as the cheerleader and then I played as the priest, who of course I gave the creepy voice to, and both times I won.
Mm-hmm.
And Dane will never be the same.
Me neither.
That's not what Thaco means, but what it is. Everyone now thinks that way. Thaco is, I adore co-op board games that have potential for betrayal shenanigans, but don't necessarily have to include them. Yeah. I enjoy board games. I enjoy role-playing more than I enjoy board games. So a board game where I can role-play, that's what gets me going. How did we get onto this? Where were we?
I don't know, but I know where we're going.
Okay.
So, one of the important things for the longevity of a TTRPG is making the environment comfortable. Like, being open with your communication, especially if you're going to miss, or especially if you're not having a good time. Like, I had a game fall apart because one of the players just didn't talk to me. Like, I'd be like, so
GM.
how's everything? Right. Like, I'd be like, how's everything going? You have a good time? And they were like, yeah. And then I heard from another person that they weren't having a good time. And I'm like, you could have just told me. I can change things. Like, I am adaptable. I know what to look the part, but I'm adaptable. And like agreeing ahead of time on like what are the go conditions, what are the miss conditions, what's your backup plan. Like there are multiple times with our home game where one person couldn't make it, and we ended up playing League of Legends. And by the way, I am terrible at League of Legends. I am the worst person to ever get on the sticks.
No, I'm worse. Unless I'm playing set.
Right.
I am excellent at playing set because set's entire job. Hey, crew, welcome in. Thank you so much. I am excellent at set because I am garbage at positioning. And set's job is to put someone out of position. So I'm just like YOLO. I don't know. Like, I have an understanding. I have a vague understanding of positioning in League of Legends. I cannot do it well or reliably, and it's great because I'm like, set, go. And I can just spam, and then the DPS will end up over there. And then my whole team just goes, oh. Pew,
right.
Pew, 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 pew.
But
yeah, Duck Detective is an excellent game.
If you make your environment comfortable and welcoming, like I tell everybody who sits at one of my home games, this, with the exception of K, this is your last priority. Like this is your lowest priority. Like live your life. If it's Mother's Day, go see your mom. Don't cancel your mom because you have to be here. Like it's low pressure. The whole point is to have fun. If you're not having fun, don't. And I think that fosters an environment where people have an easier time having a good time. And if you're having a good time, you're going to do it.
Yeah. There is the other side to that coin. There is, she is an excellent, she used to be a clinical psychologist. She's now transitioning over to a writing career. She is Dr. Anna on YouTube. She has a YouTube channel because she's like, I am not practicing psychology, so I can talk about psychology online. Otherwise, it would be a conflict of interest and a problem. But she had a really interesting episode about talking about like the loneliness epidemic and how it's gotten worse since the pandemic. And it came out of like really good intentions of like, if you're not feeling well, cancel. If you're not feeling up to it. But then like people have kind of taken it to an extreme now So it's like, oh, I'm not feeling well. I'm just not going to go to the wedding. And it's your best friend.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so there is like, and we talked about this a little bit of like, with home games, you do kind of have to keep a momentum. And it's like, yes, if you are sick, look, y'all, those of you who heard my PAX Unplugged story, I got a gnarly stomach flu 24 hours before I was supposed to get on a plane to PAX Unplugged. And it was also home game day. And when I tell you that I was sprinting to the bathroom every 45 minutes on the dot,
Yikes.
both ends,
Zoinks. Zoinks scoop.
and I'm sitting here going, at what point do I cancel my plane ticket? Because I cannot do this on an airplane. Because I woke up with it, and at like 3 p.m., it's still going. Strong. And y'all, I played a 6-hour session that day. Because I felt so bad. What was I going to do, right? And the group is like, I'm like, about every 40 minutes, I'm going to get real hot. I'm going to start sweating. I'm going to have to lay down. I'm not going to be on camera. I'm going to be listening. And then after about 5 minutes, I'm going to have to jump up and sprint away. My mic will be muted. And then I'll be fine for about 40 minutes.
Right.
Like, there's a cycle. I know I could deal with this because I would rather sit here and listen in mostly than go, I am laying on the couch thinking about the game I'm missing. Don't be like me, is what I'm saying. I am not right. If you're sick, don't play. If you are miserable, don't play. Especially, I was able to do this because it was an online game. So it wasn't like I was going to infect anyone else or make anyone else bear witness to what was happening.
Yeah.
Right? Very different things. But there is a domino effect of if a game cancels too frequently, people stop being invested and they stop showing up.
Yep.
Again, a lot of the time, that is no one's fault. That is just life is happening. But you do kind of also have to find and keep that balance, and it's not an easy one to find and keep.
Yeah, like nuance is important. Like I said, like when it comes to like, I don't want to say problem player, but like trimming the like less committed player, is like you gotta really like think about it. Like, is this person not interested? Does this person just have life conflicts? Because that happens to all of us. Or is this person really committed, even though they don't necessarily like feel like it doesn't seem like that?
Jay says the game fell apart due to no one's fault, and I took that personally. Look,
Right.
like Candace had a really great story a while ago about like a home game that they really enjoyed and were really invested in, but they kept getting like job opportunities that were popping up during that game time. And like they were the note taker for the game, super committed. And then the GM just went, well, I don't think you're committed because you're not. And it was like, well, had you spoken to me,
Right,
I would have loved to tell you how committed I am. And so instead of having a conversation, which was, hey, your life is busy, right? What can we, can we write your character out? What can we do to make you, not feel like you're missing things and allow you to come back when life calms down? It was, we don't think you're committed, so you're out of the game. And look, y'all, because the next thing I'm going to bring up is sometimes you have to trim people because the vibe is less than exquisite.
Yeah.
The vibe is not immaculate. And sometimes that just means, sometimes it means they did a racist. They did a sexist. And either it was to a level where no, you don't get a second chance, or it was a minor thing, a lower tier, it was addressed, and it continued, which is also unacceptable. You know, maybe it's just that they keep causing drama. Maybe, you know, I have a friend who's struggling with this, and we're gonna go back and do probably a whole nother episode on this, not right now, but like character bleed, right? If you're playing a really intense game, and especially if it's a game that is prone to, you know, kind of some infighting or characters being pitted against each other, which, look, I love those. But if you're struggling with character bleed, that's not going to go well. You're going to be mad at your friends who were just playing their characters. And, you know, there's lots of reasons things might be not great with a player, including everyone shows up, this player is here on time, but spends the entire time on their phone. And look, there's a difference. Yes, we would love to have you on and talk about bleed, because I had this talk, we did an episode on it. I genuinely enjoy what some people call character bleed. There is a certain amount of performance and empathy that, like, I live for. Oh, my character felt away. I got a hit of that feeling, but I know that separation, right? I'm a better performer and a better player because I tap into that emotion. But for some people, it just, it's bad. There's healthy ways and there's not healthy ways. It's what my character would do, and I want to be a thinly veiled jerk because I can do that here. Yeah.
My first D&D game all those years ago had that player, and it's been decades and I'm still mad about it. Like, I still kind of hate his guts. Like, I still want to catch him in an alley and punch him in the face a little bit for legal purposes in Minecraft. Punch him in the face in Minecraft.
In my Christian Minecraft server.
Yes.
There's character bleed, and there's what I call character osmosis to know the difference between unhealthy and healthy. Yeah, like, I was a theater kid. I wanted to be more of a theater kid. I wasn't allowed. But, like, especially in performing arts, they're like, no, you need to tap into that emotion, right? And there are some people who define bleed as you are feeling the thing your character feels, and that is bad. And I'm like, how can you play a TTRPG without that? Well, I know how.
How can you be an actor without that?
Yeah, I mean, I know how you play a TTRPG without that. You say, you know, what does your character say? Whatever moves the plot forward, I'm going to roll some D20s now.
Right.
Tell me how much damage I get to roll. Right.
Right.
And that is a way to play TTRPGs. It's not the way I play TTRPGs.
Yeah, but we don't do that in this house.
I mean, David, you were there for the guy who very clearly disliked me on that one game that was on stream. And the minute my character got good, he was out to get me personally.
Yep.
And I was upset. David was furious.
I still want to fight that guy in Minecraft for legal purposes.
That's ... acting. You want me to robot through this instead? I'll go play ping pong. Yeah. So yeah, there are things you need to do to keep your players safe, to keep your space safe, because this is the thing, and I talk about this all the time for community management, and this is true. If you are running a Discord, if you are, you know, building a community of any kind, anything that you condone, you promote.
Yep.
Anything you tolerate, you give a thumbs up to. And this is, you know, we talk a lot about, especially right now with what's happening in our country, you know, the paradox of inclusion. That's not the right one. The paradox of, but it's like,
Tolerance.
thank you.
Paradox.
Tolerance. Paradox of tolerance, you know, If you let the Nazis hang out in a bar, it becomes a Nazi bar.
Right.
If you let people say the racist thing, the sexist thing, the homophobic thing, the transphobic thing, that space is neither safe nor welcoming to the people who identify that way or who are grappling with the idea that maybe I belong to this minority group. Maybe I can explore this in a safe space with my friend. Oh, they hate the thing I might think I maybe am. Guess I can't do that here. And I don't feel safe with any of these people now. A standard you walk past is the standard you accept. Exactly. And again, I will... Now look, we all have on days. We all have bad days. If you let the Nazis hang out in the White House... to paraphrase Manic Street Preachers, if you tolerate TTRPGs, then your children will be next. Will be next. Will be next. We all have days where we are more on than others. I'm the note taker for one of my games, and I knew for a fact we were recording. It was in person, and I just had like a little audio recorder on the table, with everyone's consent. So it was like, this is an important session. I want to take notes, but are you all cool with it? Everyone gave a thumbs up. Great. I reached a point at about hour number 6. That session where my notes literally said, see recording, too tired. Right? We all have days where we're on and days where we're off and days where we get news midway through the session that turns us off. But the player who shows up, maybe even on time every time, spends the entire time on their phone, never knows when it's their turn in combat, doesn't know the names or classes of any of the other players, who will only RP with the DM. Those are, even if they show up on time, maybe those aren't the people you need.
Right. Maybe that's not going to be the best playing environment.
So we talk a lot about, we spend a lot of time saying, like, you do need to be flexible. You do need to work with people. You do need to sit down and go, if the need arises, you do need to sit down and go, hey, we appreciate that y'all show up. We notice that it's getting, do we maybe want to switch from once a week to every other week? Do we maybe need to look at, what do we need to do to adjust? You do need to be flexible, but there are things you also need to be rigid about. I'm 12. Because if you don't, you're gonna lose everyone else. And if you have that player who has to have the magical item, who has to pickpocket everyone else, who has to be the first person to grab the loot and never shares it with anyone else, maybe you don't need that player.
Also, send that person to an alley and tell me where the alley is. And it's also like important to approach this as a player, because as we've sort of touched on, like, the players are the most important part of the longevity of a game. Like, if you have a GM that's like, I built an entire world. I have filled a pantheon full of gods. I built all these custom mechanics in addition to all the stuff for 5e or Pathfinder or whatever system you're playing. Or I made a whole new system. Like, let's put. They are dedicated and they are committed, and I'd argue they're the most committed person at the table. And I can't tell you the number of conversations I've had with people who GM and they're like, oh, I had this whole thing planned out for like a year and a half's worth of content, and we played 2 sessions, and then that was it.
Yeah. Yeah. And continue your thought.
And so as a player, like, it's not just your job to like row in the same direction as not just the other players, but also the plot. But, and this sounds counterintuitive, but it's also your job to speak up and, if necessary, walk away when you're not having a good time. like, because if you play enough TTRPGs, you will run into a problem player. And if you play enough TTRPGs, you'll run into a problem GM. And don't torture yourself hanging around and playing in this game where you're not having fun and where you're not like, everybody hears stories about the murder hobo party where like they show up to a town, they murder a town guard, they go into the nearest store, they blackmail the shopkeeper and then steal all his stuff and then go on their merry way. And while I personally don't necessarily like that type of game, unless the players are willing to deal with the consequences, because I'm perfectly happy with my players' party being the villains and me conjuring a bunch of good guys to come after them. But if you're sitting there and you're like, and you're one of those people who's like, oh man, I'm going to play an evil playthrough of this game. And then like, it's like, all right, now you got to kick the cat. And you're like, but the cat is so cute. I can't kick the cat. Like, if you know, you're not going to like steal the hunk of bread out of the orphan's hand, and you're not the person to be like in the motor hobo party, and everybody else is on board with that, don't force yourself to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Jason says, like, don't plan a year and a half ahead. Seriously, please don't. Like, I have ideas. You said Dave and I are working on a world and a streamed game, and all this stuff, we've been working on it for years. We know where stuff is going to go years into the stream, but we're not sitting here going, okay, players have to go to point A. Then they have to go directly to point B. Then we're going to stall before they get to point C. No, we know that stuff so that when it is time to start pulling those elements in and dropping hints, we have it there. It's in our minds so we can do it in the moment. But yeah, don't sit there and plan out. By February, we're going to be doing X. The game that I went to the UK to play, GM, like, GM is like, you walk into the room and you see this person and holds up an image. And he's like, I have had this image in my file for 3 years. And we're like, how long did you think it was going to take us to get to this character? He's like, not that long.
In our home game, so I've told this story before, but I planned an anniversary event for our game, like the 53rd session that we had, and from like 45 on, I was like, hey Kay, what session is this? Because Kay, the consummate note taker, they were like, at the top of it, it's like, this is session 46. And so I had this whole plan where something that Kay did in a 0-session game one shot had an effect in the world, and I was like, I'm gonna spring this on him, and it almost didn't happen because we were in the middle of an arc and like in the middle of like doing things, and I got really lucky because like episode like session like 50. The party was like, all right, we're done here. We're going to go like do other things. And I was like, okay, good. I have time to sneak this in. But it's important, like, and it's obvious by now that it's important as a GM to be flexible, because it's not just you playing the game, it's your players playing the game. And you got to follow where everybody leads the story. But I've built, I've rejiggered an entire city's politics for one player who wanted to do one specific thing. I was like, okay, I got to figure out a way to like make this happen.
Yeah. It's got to be central. It can't just be
right. And that,
I want to
that
honor
included
this thing that my player brought.
Right. It included a new zone, new mechanics, a bunch of new characters, and then I found a way to tie characters into that affected the other players. Like it was this whole thing. And then there's also the famous one throwaway line where it's like, can you talk to spiders? And I'm like, God damn it. And I had to invent a new god, invent a new storyline, change an existing storyline, just do a whole but and
I'm the worst.
Right. And it's like, was it what I had planned out? No. Did it end up turning out better than my original plan? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Was it worth all the extra work? Absolutely. And also my players were happy and still tell stories about these storylines and these events that happened in game that all stemmed off of one person saying one throwaway line.
I'm going to add on to that, but like, I want to chat really quick. Lurking Writer says, and I walk away. It's not just a Liam O'Brien character trait, but also good advice for any TTRPG or social situation that has become intolerable for you. Disengaging is a free action. Not in combat, but as a player, disengaging is a free action. I also want to, Rex has murder hobos, the violence vagrants, the caravan of carnage, the murder march. I love it. Pretty sure that Caravan of Carnage was a Hammer horror film from the 70s. I will believe it. If you can't build oh, wow. If you're campaign building because it's fun, that's a great idea. If you're preparing a campaign and expecting it to run for years, that's setting up some risk. Yeah. Come up with tent poles, come up with ideas, come out with touch points, and then let your players do what they're going to do. Because, yeah. And part of, and I know we spend so much time on this channel talking about it, but it's really important. Part of what's important as both a player and a GM and staying flexible is like communication. I play a character who has magic in a low magic world. I have a magic spell directly out of the book, which the system we play, Acton Cthulhu. It is a little overpowered for the world. For a world this low magic, it is a little bit strong. And my GM had kind of said, like, okay, yes, you can have it, but it can't affect, like, I'm putting additional limits on it. Even though specifically in the book it says it heals both of these things, it can't do that one. Because as my hilarious GM says, like, magic can heal your body, but it can't cure depression.
Yeah.
Which,
unfortunately.
Fair. And then it continued. Another character got an item that was supposed to be, a god, literally god-blessed item that was supposed to do a whole lot of really cool healing. And it wasn't quite as good as my spell right out of the book, even with that nerf. And I felt this coming, right? And I knew we were going to switch over to a different system here after we finished this arc. So I reached out proactively. I reached out to my GM and I'm like, hey, look, I understand that my magic is a little overpowered for how you envision this world. And I know you want to nerf it, and that's great. But now that the party, because this is a highly lethal system, so most of the party is not the characters that we started with. Like, now that some of these other characters have come in, they're kind of doing things that were very unique to my character. And some of the stuff that, like, I specifically have to take an action to do, people are able to do passively. So can we, instead of just look at nerfing this spell, can we look at the whole character and figure out how to make them unique and effective and interesting in the current space of the party? Like, if we're going to focus on this one thing, can we just do the whole package? The GM was like, yes, I would love that. Thank you for understanding, because everyone who plays a video game knows this. You know this, especially as you play Overwatch and other competitive video game. A nerf feels bad.
Yep.
A nerf feels bad. And there is no worse feeling as a GM, at least to me, than going like, hey, player, I need to take away some of that cool stuff.
Yeah.
That your character,
that's
especially
the
if it's cool stuff your character's been doing for years.
right?
Yeah.
Because it's kind of one thing when it's all like, especially if it's homebrew, right? Where it's all like, hey, I gave you this thing. Now that you've used it for a session or two, we might have to scale it back, right? Like anytime I do something homebrew or give someone something really cool, I'm like, please be aware, I might have to ratchet it down. And if you do that with that expectation, people are okay. But there's nothing worse than, I know you love this character. I know you love playing them. I know that's your favorite thing. I have to make it less powerful. It doesn't feel good. So being able to go to my GM and go, I see the problem. I see the imbalance. I am more than willing to do this. In return, can we look at this as well? It was like you could see the relief of like, yes, great. Thank you. Follow up from previous comment, and now it turns out every inanimate object in the world is technically a sapient being slumbering until acted upon by speak with fill in the blank magic. This is an ongoing campaign, and we don't know what's going to happen next. Oh dear. And yes, I would do that just to force you to do voices. I made David speak like a horse.
Still pains me. It still pains me because for people who don't know Roxy is a devotee of the flying spaghetti monster. And in a world that has a full pantheon of gods that actually exist, and everybody knows they actually exist, there's the one god where no one knows and everyone assumes doesn't exist.
Everyone knows it's a joke god. Were you just horsing around, David?
Oh my
Thank you, Matt.
God.
Yes.
And so it
may
made sense.
his noodly appendage be upon me. Ramen.
And so it made sense for Oath of the Ancients. And I was like, out of all the different oaths that a paladin could take, it makes sense for Roxy. And I'm going through the different oaths, and I'm like, okay, Oath of the Ancients makes sense. God damn it. Speak with animals.
Always prepared.
No. Always ready to go. And so Roxy wakes up in the back of in the back of the wagon. Yeah. The back of the wagon, sits up and goes, oh man, I can talk to animals. Gets up, walks around to the front of the wagon, is like, hello, horse. And I'm like, God damn it.
It was even worse because Roxy woke up, sat up. Thank you for the follow, Classic Sam. Woke up, sat up, and said, I think I could speak to spiders. I'm going to go test on the horse. And David, the pain. Jason says, last 5e campaign, I gave the PCs a time machine just to see what would happen. But definitely never do that. It worked out in our case, but take your own risks. Yeah, that...
Yeah. Ooh. From a storytelling perspective, it's so hard to execute a time travel story. And like, I can think of like maybe like 3 different cases where it worked out. Mm-hmm. One of them being an episode of Star Trek. One of them being Looper, which if you have not seen Looper is a brilliant film. Oh man.
Spider horse. Can it speak? Nay, of course.
And it was 2 horses. So I didn't just have to do one horse voice, but I had to have 2 different personalities. But being a GM is not easy, y'all. Like sometimes you really got to stretch yourself.
But we appreciate you. And yeah, so communication and also like the occasional check-in is really Players met a Moonstone Dragon who was experiencing the eternity of their life at the same time. Made for fun NPC to run. Yes, I love Moonstone Dragons. 2 horses, so 8 legs. The spider connection. The interesting part was that the players never used the time machine. They hated it and didn't want to time travel in their 5e. Chocolate and my peanut butter.
everyone had to talk to horses. But between them, talk to the centaur. And we made it to centaurs. We got
Yep.
there. We got
Yep.
there. I knew we would. But yeah, doing check-ins. Like I said, GM kind of my GM. So we were talking before about like not every table is for you. You know, maybe the theme of the game isn't for you. Sometimes the game isn't for you. I am notoriously not a big fan of rules light games. I'm just not. And I had kind of there are some games that are kind of put in the rules light category, which are really not rules light, right? They're just not actually rules light. They're just D6s. So I tend to talk about D6 systems because that tends to cover the majority. Centaurs, part of CW chat's stable of references. Like it didn't. And I was my GM knew that I was not a big fan of D6 systems. And he's like, so I think we're switching to a D6 system. And it's like my GM writes for Modifius, right? He knows game mechanics very well. He has written this system specifically for this setting, for this world. And I'm like, look, for this group, I will play a D6 system. Just be aware my character's going to suck because if I don't have modifiers, I will never succeed at anything. And he's like, oh no, this is a D6 system with modifiers. And I'm like, great, then we're good. Because I don't care. You can tell me you need 2 successes and you get to roll 20 D6s. I still won't get 2 successes. It's just how it is. We can't or keep them out. We don't gate.
I see you. I see all you motherfuckers.
Now that you've mentioned it, I just ran a reclusion in The Strange campaign based on TNG episode Cause and Effect, the time loop episode, but that one ran fine. Time loop, yeah. Time travel can be. A group of 100 horses happens once a century. But like he did the check-in. It was like, I know we're going to this system and I'm really sorry. And then we were able to talk out, like, what is it I don't like about D6s? Well, I can't roll above a 3 ever, full stop, right? With modifiers, that's fine. I am happy to fail on a pretty regular basis so long as the stuff that my character is specifically built to be good at, they can do on a fairly regular basis. I like to fail so long as it is not failing every time at the stuff I'm supposed to be good at. I love failing at the stuff I'm supposed to be bad at. That's the best. Do check-ins. Hey, we just finished this arc. It went kind of dark. Or like this arc was very political. Or, how we feeling?
It's like, hey, I know I flayed a lot of children in this one. How are we feeling about that?
But also just, hey, player, I haven't seen what was said yet that made David pull that face. I'm going to finish this thought and then I can't wait to read it. But like, hey, player, you just lost a family member, or you just lost your job, or you're going through a divorce. Hey, you just started new medication. How we doing? What do you need? What do you need to avoid? Because we talk a lot, we have a safety sheet. If you haven't checked out our Google Docs-based safety sheet, it's at chaoticwholesome.com or chaoticwholesome.me. You can find it on our Patreon. You can find it on our Ko-fi. It's free. It's up there. You could fill that out just fine. And then in a year or two, in a month or two, you might discover something new that you don't want to touch on. Right? Like, so maybe check in every 6 months. Hey, we're getting ready for a new arc. Look this up. Is this still accurate? Does anyone need to change anything?
Yeah, like a good example is, you know, a year ago, I would have been perfectly happy watching reruns of House or like other medical procedurals. And now I'm going to take a break for a while. Like maybe no medical procedurals
Yeah.
in my near future.
Yeah. Centaur puns aren't that hard to make, but trying to make new ones that haven't been said before can be a bit of a nightmare.
Mhm.
We are not hoof-hearted in our centaur talk. Update to Blades in the Dark, deep cuts. The D6 roll doesn't determine success, but how you deal with the complication results. Subtle difference, but can be huge thematically. I'll believe that. The you of today might not be the you of tomorrow. After all, bringing it back around to Doctor Who tangentially. Yes, I had a player call me an audible in-game because I unearthed play an audible in-game because I unearthed some mild childhood trauma. Yeah, like, and sometimes you don't know that something's going to be a problem, right?
Right. And it's never too late to withdraw consent.
Yes, exactly.
Like at any point in time, you're like, I not only are you able to, but I insist that you have to say, I am not okay with this.
Yeah. And like, as a GM, we talk about being flexible. You know, I have learned this now. Like, if you've got a problem with spiders, no problem, just let me know. Suddenly, they're not spiders, they're crabs. And people are like, that's worse. And I'm like, you got a problem with snakes? You know, no worries, there's not snakes. We just got like flying eels. And people are like, no, no, that's worse. So, you know, double check your solutions sometimes too, because yeah, sometimes your solutions are worse than the problem you're trying to avoid.
Yeah, I remember I had a friend in Australia, and I was like, "Hey, I hear that like the most poisonous spider or the most venomous spider in like the earth is in Australia." And she looks at me and she goes, "Oh yeah, we do, but that's not a problem. It's in the ocean." And I'm like, "Wait a second. You mean to tell me if I go splishy splashy in the place with the jellyfish and the sharks, there's also the one nip and you're done spider? Oh hell no! I'm never going to Australia. To this day, I have not been, and I never will go. You will find me at the top of Everest before you find me. Like I will be laying on the ground next to one of the many bodies on the top of Everest before I will set foot in the Australian airport. Absolutely not."
Yeah, Lurking Rider says, please don't suffer in silence. And Rex says, yeah, I once threw an X card because someone referred to a kid they had adopted as the kid they bought. Right?
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Like, and sometimes, you know, we've all been in a space where we said something that with our immediate people is funny and is fine and was not fine in this space. And that doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It just means, hey, know the limits on this space, right? There are jokes that I make in my home game I make on stream. There are jokes that I will make while I'm on stream that get typed directly to David and no one else. No when and where.
And I need to be better about showing up to streams that my friends are doing. I miss a lot of them. I apologize. But if you're streaming and I'm watching your stream,
You're getting roasted.
maybe don't look at the things that I am typing at you
You're getting
because,
roasted.
oh my God, just whatever the funniest thing I can think of that makes me laugh, that's what you're about to get. And the number of times I've had friends on stream and, you know, they get done with the stream and they're like, I had so hard a time keeping a straight face because of the bullshit you were typing to me. I was like, it's your fault for reading it.
Yeah. But with that, we are reaching the end of our stream, the end of our time. Thank you all so much for joining us, for your great commentary, for your great insights, for your great sharing. If Y'all, we have been doing this for 5 years. Literally, we started this talk show because we were like, well, we ran Godplane. We need to do something between now and when we run our next AP. And y'all kept showing up. Y'all kept having great ideas and great feedback and being awesome and asking questions and giving suggestions. And we genuinely appreciate, and we would not be doing this if you all weren't awesome and didn't show up. As always, it's funny because we're halfway through 2025, but given the rocky start that we have, I'm still like, unfortunately, we're still kind of figuring out 2025 because life.
Yep. Because the past 6 months have been 3 years.
Yes. Yes. But as we've said before, we have a Discord. It is chill. It is fun. You are welcome to hang out. You do not have to. But if you have topics that you would like us to cover, please give us a shout. DM us on Blue Sky. Don't DM us on Twitter. I don't check it. I don't think you can anymore because I kept getting spam bots. Like, it got worse somehow. Hit us up. Let us know. Thank you so much. We were talking about you got to be flexible. You got to figure out what you're going to do. This only exists because we realized we couldn't run back-to-back APs. And now this is kind of our staple thing. 2025 has been 3 tons of BS, and I am a Toyota Hilux track just creaking through under the weight. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Always, thank you all for hanging out. Thank you for being so awesome. Thank you for all of the birthday and streamiversary wishes. Thank you, Lurking Writer and Ilaria, for the resubs. Thank you, Classic Sam, for the follow. Thank you to everyone who came out. And yeah, I wish that you all find as incredible a creative partner as David, and I hope you find a community as incredible as all of you. Yes, thank you.
Also, happy birthday, Kay. And if you are unaware, and I'm sure you are not, Kay is the absolute best. And while everyone is sleeping, and by everyone I mean me, Kay is busy in the trenches doing things and learning things and then doing more things. Without Kay's relentless drive, none of this would be possible.
Like I said, I played a 6-hour game while vomiting every 45 minutes on the clock.
Yeah.
I can't be stopped. I don't be like me. My brain is like this. I'm sure I could get on some medication that would make that better, but also...
But why would you?
I kind of need some of that sometimes. So thank you all. You are all wonderful. It is always a delight. David, who the heck is you and what the heck has we been doing here?
I am excited for Kay's birthday party. And I'm excited for the Juneteenth game on Thursday. So, make sure you are there. And this is the Chaotic Wholesome Talk Show, where every week we talk about TTRPG stuff, how to be a better GM, how to be a better player, how to be a better person, all with a focus on intersectionality and inclusivity so that everybody can have a good time.
And yes, as the reminder, tomorrow we're off because it's my birthday and I'm playing a home game and probably watching my character die. How we all want to spend our birthday. Thursday, Juneteenth, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 2 a.m. British Standard Time is when we will be doing the Juneteenth game. It will be a Savage Worlds College game run by Candace the Frickin' Magnificent and I had this up before, we're doing it again, with art done by Jason Domo Came. Thank you so much, Jason. Friday, I will be over at Entropy Emporium for the Weird Wilds War playing Brandon, and then I'm just going to play Brandon again on Saturday at a home game where I get to torture David. Sunday, I will be over at Nerds with Dice playing Roxy, Paladin of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, for charity. That will be at 7 a.m. Pacific. So that's 10 a.m. Eastern. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. Is that right? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. 3 p.m. British Standard Time. I can count to 10, but I usually have to take my shoes off. So, gotta double check. And then Tuesday, we'll be right back here doing this again. Thank you all. So my characters do know what they did. To be fair, Burton did nothing. Burton is just a cinnamon bun. Thank you all so much for hanging out. We are going to go find someone to raid. Have yourselves a truly lovely evening. Thank you for hanging out. Happy Pride. Take care of your communities. Be careful out there. Call your representatives. And as always, this is Gilmore. He is our other host. Want one more? Can we get one more? Can we get one for the road? Come on, one for the road. Come on. Come on. That's my guy. That's my guy. All right. Be kind to yourself. Be excellent to others. And we will see you next time. Bye, y'all.